we need to talk a little bit about retroviruses. Now, I know that I skipped a slide or two. Truthfully, you can read through those slides. I think they're pretty self explanatory. So I'm trying to get to the main ones where I think I need to talk about them a little bit more. And also, if I'm skipping some of the slides, it may be because I don't intend on putting that kind of stuff on your test. So let's do a little retrovirus. Okay, so with the DNA and the RNA genome, our biggest variety is in the RNA, and it's for the ones that infect animals because the ones that infect bacteria, the phages, they're DNA viruses. So when we're talking about animal viruses, our greatest variety is with these RNA viruses. And there are some RNA viruses that are called retroviruses. Now, retro means in reverse or to go back. So these are viruses that have RNA as their genome, and they have to go backwards to make a piece of DNA. And I know that I've mentioned them before, but in order to get the code to transcribe their proteins, which is basically the capsid, then they're going to have DNA. So they're going to need our enzymes in order to transcribe for those proteins, but these retroviruses have a particular enzyme called reverse transcriptase. Now, it's transcribing ASE Menzen enzyme, and we're having to go in reverse. The actual process of this happening is called reverse transcription. And this is copying their RNA backwards into making a piece of DNA. HIV is a retrovirus, and we know that HIV causes AIDS. One of the things we may have talked about in the past that they're doing with these retroviruses, polio is a retrovirus as well. They're injecting some of these into brain tumors. Now, we know that brain cells don't replicate, and if they do, it's because they've been mutated. But the rest of the normal brain cells aren't. So if you have, if I'm sorry, guys, that's Gus. If you have a cell that is replicating in the brain, it's been mutated, and they're taking these retroviruses because viruses only attack living tissue, and they're putting them in these tumors, and they're allowing the virus to eat up the dividing cells. And of course, they don't mess with the rest of the brain cells because they're not dividing, and therefore they end up just fizzling out. And that's what a lot of them do. I know that this has been tried at St. Jude. We actually had a mom several years back that was in on pioneering this, and she told us about a child they had that they had exhausted absolutely everything in the book they could do for him, and he was circling the drain. He was getting ready to expire. And they went to the parents and said, we could try this by shooting HIV in there, but, worst case scenario, it may get the tumor, but we may end up HIV positive, which, they do a lot with childhood HIV. So the parents did say okay to this process. They injected HIV into the tumor, and as it turned out, the virus ate the tumor, did not bother the surrounding tissue, and as it turned out, the little boy wasn't HIV positive either. So they are doing a lot with these retroviruses in brain tumors. On the other hand, in adults, because we don't react like children do, they have much better response with childhood cancers than they do a lot of adults. I have a friend that had a brain tumor, and they used polio, and it bought him about 3 years, but he eventually ended up dying. So, but it was still 3 good years. He got to see his grandkids be born. It was good, not as well as what happened in the child, but this is something they are doing with retroviruses. So they have a very cool role right now.